Hello everybody, I just wanted to pop on here to start with just to say a big thank you for all of the subscribes and likes and comments on my videos. I really do appreciate it, and if you're not already subscribed, please do press the subscribe button so that you don't miss the videos. So what I'm going to be talking about today is starting paintings in the studio, and as you would imagine you need to have a sort of a background to what you're going to start with, what subject matter you're going to start with. So these ones I'm going to start today are all about the edgelands, which you probably would have seen me talk about, but I just wanted to refresh your memory by showing you some of the studies that I've done out on location. So this is a large A3 sketchbook. These are reconfigured collage pieces that you probably will have seen me do the videos for. And here are some more in colour. And I've done quite a few of these and I've reconfigured them in the studio, having done them out on location. And here's another one. And then I've done a Constantina sketchbook out in the landscape where I actually started with some collage on the surface that I did in the studio, and then I worked over it in the landscape. So those are the bases together with some colour studies, and I'm going to turn the camera around now so that I can share with you how I start these paintings. And as you can see behind me, I have got some big or 50 centimetre square panels that I'm going to make a start with. So it's kind of a start point really. So I thought I'd come on here to show you exactly how I do that. And I'll share separately the palette I've got and everything else. At the side here, which I think you've probably seen before in the previous video, I have the sort of inspiration palette colours, and it's those colours, although I've only got a select few of them to start with, that I'm going to use on the panels. So I'm going to turn around and get going, and I just hope you can see what I'm up to. I'm going to use a variety of tools, and again I'll share those with you sort of separately, just as a view so that you can see what they are, but hopefully you'll be able to see me using them anyway. So I'll try and talk you through the approach I take. I'm already getting my hands in the paint, which is so typical of me. So that's one of the colours actually, that's a nice grey. So I'm going to start with using a favourite tool actually, a trowel, which I kind of quite like to smear it on with. When I say smear it on, I mean sort of stretch it over the thing. So I'll show you what I mean. So this is how you can just put it on in some interesting ways to start with. And I should just say that this start point is really, it is literally just a start point. So I'm not necessarily worrying, well, I'm not worrying at all about composition or anything like that. My main aim at this stage is to get, and I'll put a panel at a time, but my main interest is getting the paint down. So this is like a limey green, and I really quite like this. These are going to be boards about the landscape edgelands, and this sort of green is something that appears against the stone walls in quite interesting ways, and I always quite surprised at how, even in the winter, how acidy green it is. So what I have to do is, between colours, I'll obviously have to, I don't just use the trowel, but it does help me to get quite a lot of paint down quite quickly, which I really like. I want to actually put some more opaque colours down, which could actually be this nice bluey grey. Bear in mind that I'm not thinking this. I'm trying to just get a good layer of paint on the surface. So I hope that makes sense. So you can see I'm actually putting it on relatively thickly. If I behind it so that when you drag it across you get some interesting kind of effects. Sometimes it messes it up, sometimes it adds something to it. That can be quite interesting. Okay, so I'm back. Got some more mixed paint. I thought I'd start this one differently. So this is the lovely, a bit contaminated, but it is the lovely Indian yellow. I just mixed it with some medium, and I wanted just to get some of that lovely yellow as a start point, although it's got some contamination in it. And I might just put some straight onto the thing. Probably be better with a rag actually, it's probably not best with this stuff. Never mind, I will persevere. I do quite like that gorgeous golden yellow as a sort of a, even though I'm going to put layers on, when I start scraping through layers, you'll be surprised at how that kind of, and even before you, it just goes through. And it might just give some interesting effects. I just don't know, you know, I'm just surmising. Anyway, I'll leave that there. I'm going to cover it over anyway, probably. So it occurred to me that this colour is probably a bit light, but I kind of like it, so I'm going to start. Given the fact that we're going to cover I'm going to cover these colours over anyway. I don't need to worry too much about it, I don't think. Line, so I'm just taking it down. It doesn't matter. I have to remind myself, you see, I was telling you it doesn't matter, but I was just starting to get fiddly there. I don't know if you noticed, but I was starting to get a little bit, what am I doing with this and how do I do that? And let's not think about it, let's just bung it on. So that's because there's a rule, isn't there? You only think when you're not painting, you don't think when you are painting. Painting's just about painting. And then when you have to do some thinking to see what you want to be doing with your painting, you have to do that separately to when you're applying it, otherwise you get too tight and fiddly. I shall put this on with my fingers, and then I'm going to get my trowel. That's what it's all about. So I'm just doing this a bit differently this time. Aside from the business with the thing. So here comes the lovely trowel. Need to put some more colour on there. It kind of hits and misses, and it does mix things up, so you have to be a bit mindful of that if you don't want that. I'm not worried about it at the moment because I'm obviously very early stages, but if you were using it later on in the process, you might have to be mindful of what it was mixing with. There's ways around not messing your stuff up and sealing things so you can work over them, and if you mess it up you can wipe it off. That's another story, we're not going to go into that at the moment. So here are the tools that I've been using and the palette. So the tools consist of a trowel, various squeegees, a roller, and then brushes of various sizes and a couple of palette knives. In terms of the colours, I've got a couple of darks. I've got the orangey red, rusty colour. I've got the very dark. Then I've got some greys, I'm mixing them on the palette, and then I've got the creamy colour and the limey green. One thing to say is that this palette really isn't big enough to accommodate 4 big panels, so I'm obviously going to need to make up pots of colours for future painting on these panels. So here are the 4 start point panels, and as you can see, it's just a case of getting the paint down and getting a decent layer on the surface, and then I've got something to respond to. So thanks very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe if you aren't already, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, bye bye.